What is going on, YouTube? Espresso Shucko here, and today let's talk about Iron Jugulis. It is the futuristic Hydreigon from the future here. I already said that, but anyways. It's Hydreigon from down the road, and I don't remember if it's Scarlet's Dex or if it's Violet's Dex. This thing is the result of Hydreigon falling in love with a robot. I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. This thing is a dark flying type here, which means it's got two full-on immunities to ground and psychic. It resists dark, ghost, and grass, and then it has 4 weaknesses to electric, fairy, ice, and rock. So this is a little bit of an awkward situation here for Iron Jugulis versus Hydreigon. Iron Jugulis has a base stat total of 570 points, being a Paradox Mon not named Roaring Moon or Iron Valiant. Hydreigon actually has a base stat total of 600 points, so this thing is a bit technically weaker, but it does have some tricks up its sleeve here. As far as its stats break down, it's got a 94 HP, 80 attack, 86 defense, 122 special attack, 80 special defense, and 108 speed. So the most notable thing here is it's only 3 points weaker in special attack than regular Hydreigon, and it's actually faster than Hydreigon as well, with an extra 10 points in its speed stat. So we can play this kind of similar to it as well. We're also part flying instead of part dragon, so we don't have to worry about being 4 times weak to fairy, and Quark Drive will give us a boost to either our speed stat by 50% boost or any of the other stats by 30, depending on which one the highest point is, so long as electric terrain is on the field. So what I was thinking here for the first idea is we can do kind of like a slight offensive support here. We can run Tailwind and Taunt, maybe a Focus Sash to keep our longevity up. Covert Cloak would be good here too because we can protect ourselves from Fake Out. So what I was thinking was we can go Snarl to lower our opponent's special attack. We can have Heat Wave for some just generic spread move damage, and then we can run Taunt or Tailwind. Taunt, we can shut down our opponents with status moves, and Tailwind we can provide speed for our own party for 4 turns. And because of the way how speed works from Gen 8 onward, that speed boost is instant as well too, so that is kind of nice. Now you could play around with this. Maybe you can swap Snarl out for Dark Pulse, or maybe you can swap Heat Wave out for something else, like maybe say Earth Power, because the combination of Heat Wave and Snarl is wide guard bait, so they could just immediately wall you out that way. But on the flip side, if you taunt them, then they can't wide guard you. So a little bit of a weird circle, but you could do something like that. And what I was thinking too is, with a timid nature here on Iron Jugulis, you actually hit 2 points higher than special attack naturally, so you should get a speed boost when Quark Drive activates, which would be kind of nice, because now you're getting that 50% boost. You can go for that fast, reliable Tailwind, and now the rest of the party has speed going behind it. You can also get that fast taunt off, so maybe you can shut down, like, say, Garganacles from going for Iron Defense or Rare Cover. You can go for some other things, like you can taunt that Amoonguss, now it can't Spore or Rage Powder you. You can also go for the Heat Wave and hit Amoonguss pretty hard, and go from there. Now, another thing I was thinking too is we can go offensive booster energy here, and what I was thinking was maybe we go Terra Flying with this one here so that we can double our stab on Hurricane. We could maybe go on a Rain team so that Hurricane doesn't have the chance of missing, and we get a reliable chance of confusing our opponent. We have Dark Pulse for another stab option there, and then we can maybe go Flash Cannon to hit Steel and Ice types because they do straight up resist our flying type damage. So we could go with the Steel type. We can also hit Fairies harder with it too. So that was something I was thinking. We could also just adjust our EVs so that we maybe hit 173, put the remaining points into like one of our defenses, and now we can go for a Life Orb boosted Quark Drive special attack. We could do something like that. Another thing I was thinking too, because this is a similar enough idea, we could run Choice Specs, run a full invested special attack and speed, go with the Choice Specs. We go Dark Pulse for coverage, we go for Hurricane, we have Earth Power, we have U-Turn to get out of there, and Pivot. Really straightforward here. We could run a Choice Scarf as well. I don't see why you wouldn't run either or. Go Terra Dark or Terra Flying to double your respective stabs. You could go Terra Ground and then get some stab on Earth Power, but I think you kind of want to stick to either Dark or Flying, especially if you're running a Rain team with this. If you run Rain, I really recommend running Terra Flying instead of Terra Dark. So the other thing too is I do have some other notable moves for breakdown with damage and status. So what I was thinking too is Iron Jugulis gets access to Focus Blast. That's great fighting coverage. It's a base 120 move. It maybe if you're going with Terra Dark, you could maybe run like say a Bronzong with Gravity to up the accuracy on that. Now you can hit Steel types really hard if you want to run the Focus Blast. You could go Hydro Pump. Same idea with gravity support. You could do that, increase your accuracy. Maybe you even want to run Terra Water or run this on a Rain team, and now your Hydro Pump is going to be doing stupidly high amounts of damage. Because especially if you go Terra Water and have Rain on the field, that's a 50% boost from each of them there. So that is strong. You can get Dragon Pulse for some generic coverage as well. Hydreigon is a really popular mon as well in the ladder right now too. So maybe if your opponent hasn't terastalized it, you could go for Dragon Pulse, especially if you're scared of missing a Focus Blast, or you just want to use Dragon Pulse for generic Dragon coverage, because Dragon does hit a lot of things neutrally. You also get access to Fire Blast, which is a high-hitting fire-type move. Maybe you want to just spite Hydreigon and just run Iron Jugulis with Terra Fire, because, you know, Hydreigon tends to run Terra Fire a lot to deal with fairies as well, and Steel types. So you could go Terra Fire, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, or Heat Wave, and go with that. Fire Blast being the strongest out of the three of them there. It's also got 85 accuracy, so it's not the worst thing. Like, it's got better accuracy than Hydro Pump, so you could technically go Fire Blast and get away with it, especially if you wanted to run Terra Fire. As far as some status moves go too, and this is going to be kind of nice to come right off of Fire Blast, you do get access to Sunny Day. So kind of like what I was saying in the Sandy Shocks video, where Sandy Shocks gets electric terrain. Maybe if you're playing a combination of Paradox Bronze from both games, maybe you want to run Sunny Day as a little bit of support tech on your Iron Jugulis, and then that way you can activate Photosynthesis on a Scarlet Paradox Mon. Maybe you want to do something like that. You can get Focus Energy as well, maybe slap a Scope Lens on this thing, and now basically you have really high odds of landing critical hits, because basically Scope Lens would increase your crit ratio from a base 1 to a base 2. Focus Energy would go to base 4. Now you're guaranteed landing a critical hit, and you can just go for raw damage like that. You could potentially do that. I'm pretty sure Hydreigons are running that as well. I kind of have to look into it. I'm a little bit disconnected because I haven't really been on the ladder as much, but I do know that's a thing. I mean, I ran it with Kingdom before. It works. It's fun. You get Scary Face as well, so there's some more speed control. Maybe you want to run that instead of Tailwind, because you're worried about the Tailwind turns and Iron Jugulis just not sticking around long enough. Maybe you know from, like, say, battling, it's towards the end of the battle, the Clear Amulet user's gone. Maybe you got something kind of slower in the back. Maybe you were in like a 3-2 situation. Iron Jugulis is going down. Maybe you want to go with that Scary Face to cut something's speed by 2 and then go from there. Finally, we have Workup. So both Iron Jugulis and Hydreigon get this. Basically, you can raise your attack and special attack one stage. Might be fun to look into. It could work, it might not. It's kind of a little bit of a gimmick because you do have to take a turn to set it up, but it might not be too bad. Anyways, guys, that's my main thoughts on Iron Jugulis. I hope you guys like this robotic Hydra with wings. It's a really cool Pokemon by design. It's, like I said, it is technically weaker than Hydreigon because it's got 30 base stat points less than Hydreigon, but it does have the speed to make up for it, and its special attack is comparable to the original, and it also doesn't have that 4 times fairy weakness, which is pretty nice. So I think this thing does have a lot of potential, and I'm pretty excited to try it out myself. Let me know in the comments down below if you've used this, whether you've used it as support or offense. I'd love to know your opinions on how it works. Anyways, guys, I will see you next time.